Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Friday, February 19th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Bermuda, it's 12:30 p.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL Instant Mail address is CATEX-TV. Beginning this Monday and for the next several Mondays, there will be a front-page advertisement running in the publication Insurance Day, advertising CATEX's new bordereau management system. This is to better monitor activities of cover holders. I invite you to look at the ad. Also, if you were anywhere near a television in the past 30 minutes, you saw Tiger Woods giving a 15-minute long apology. He's now back in his SUV, being followed by news helicopters returning to the sexual addiction clinic. You couldn't make this stuff up. And now to our main news. The U.S. has some economic news of some interest. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve actually raised the interest rate a little bit, signaling that the end of cheap money is finally coming. It's had some good effect on the dollar. The dollar to the pound now is up to about $1.58, which is good if you're in the U.S. Some consumer price news came up. They rose less than expected in January, while prices excluding food and energy actually dropped. That's something that hasn't happened in over 25 years. The government said this morning that consumer prices went up 0.2% in January, while prices excluding food and energy dropped 0.1%. It's the first time since 1982. Well, they finally have a big fish. He's agreed to come. I'm not quite sure he knows what he's getting into, but this man, Akio Toyoda, is coming to Washington, D.C. He's confirmed that he's going to appear before a congressional panel on Wednesday to explain Toyota's handling of a series of damaging safety recalls. He's the grandson of the company's founder. He said earlier this week he would not come to the hearings. He changed his mind following a direct invitation from the head of the committee leading the investigation. Mr. Toyoda said, "I look forward to speaking directly with Congress and the American people." Now, Toyota, of course, has recalled more than 6 million vehicles in the U.S. According to American safety regulators, maybe as many as 34 deaths have been blamed on the unintended acceleration in Toyota since 2000. The transport minister of Japan said, "It's good that Mr. Toyoda has decided to accept, but it's a shame there was flip-flopping on the decision." Mr. Toyoda said that he's looking forward to speaking directly to the American people and telling them of their concern, Toyota's concern for their safety and well-being. This is going to be one of the biggest congressional committee show trials. This will probably rival something that's not been seen on Capitol Hill since Oliver North was there in the 1980s. It's going to be really something. Off the coast of Brazil in the Atlantic, a sailing ship owned by a Canadian school, and this is some sailing ship here, sank in strong winds. All 64 passengers on board were rescued this morning. According to the Brazilian Navy, everyone on board the ship has been accounted for. The Navy said they picked up a distress signal from the ship, which is the Concordia, at about 5 p.m. local time yesterday. It was 300 miles off the coast of Rio de Janeiro. The Navy informed shipping in the region to be alert, and the 60 people or so were picked from the ocean by other vessels. The Concordia is owned by West Island College International in Nova Scotia. The ship had left Brazil's northeast on February 8th and was expected to land in Montevideo, Uruguay on Tuesday. Well, yesterday when we came on the air, we mentioned that a small plane had crashed into an office building in Texas, in Austin. This is a very bizarre story. A software engineer with an apparent grudge against the government crashed his plane into an office building that housed the Internal Revenue Service. Of course, he killed himself, and he killed at least one of the workers in there. His single-engine Piper PA-28 plane basically turned the black glass office building into a ruin. The man's name was Joseph Stack. He was a software engineer who apparently had an ongoing disagreement with the IRS concerning his treatment as an independent contractor. He was mainly concerned about an IRS audit in which the government agency claimed that Stack had failed to report $12,700 of his wife's income. So Stack in a note said, "Well, Mr. Big Brother IRS man, let's try something different. Take my pound of flesh and sleep well." He said that he had spent $5,000 of his own money and countless hours lobbying to change the law, which he said began to have its impact on my bottom line. So, of course, you do the logical thing. You burn your house down, which you did first, and then get into your Piper Cub, fully loaded with gasoline, and fly it into a building, killing yourself. Well, good riddance. In Russia, explosions this morning in the volatile region of Ingushetia have killed at least 2 people and injured 28 others. The two dead include 2 high-ranking law enforcement officials. The blast occurred in the outskirts of the town of Nazran, the republic's main city. According to reports that are coming in, there were as many as 5 explosions. The police chief and the head of its investigative committee were killed. Also in Russia, the launch next week of a European satellite designed to monitor the response of ice sheets to climate change has been delayed. The European Space Agency, which is launching it from the Russian Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, announced this morning that the satellite, the Cryosat-2, pictured here, had been scheduled to launch next Thursday, but it's now been delayed due to a concern related to the second stage steering engine of the launcher. This would be the missile that they're going to be using to send it up. Cryosat-2 is a replica of a first satellite, Cryosat-1, which was launched through a second stage launch failure in October of 2005, so they're not taking any chances with this. We reported yesterday about what seemed to be a coup going on in Niger, in the West African country. Well, it indeed was a coup. The French, who had colonized that area of Africa, and the African Union have condemned the military coup. The head of the African Union criticized the coup leaders, saying that France is calling for a dialogue to resolve the political crisis in its former colony. The capital of Niger, Niamey, was calm today, although armored vehicles are seen stationed outside of key government buildings, including the presidential palace. The new leader is a gentleman named Salou Dijbo. He's the squadron leader of the coup leaders. He said in a statement that he wants to make Niger into an example of democracy and good governance. The ousted president, this man, Mr. Mamadou Tanja, has been seen by a doctor, and the 71-year-old apparently is doing very well. He's being held at a military base in Niamey. U.S. stock market is up about 26 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors. Global Reinsurance is reporting that there's been another poaching of Aon, this time by